Hey guys, welcome back. Today we're going to do BELIT and Valeria, issue number 1 by Ablaze. I'm not sure if you say BELIT or BELIT. Yeah, I'm just calling her BELIT or BELIT. Doesn't matter. Like the cover, by the way. It's made by Max Bemis and Rodney Buchemi. I'm going to read a little bit what's in here because I think that's important. In creating these two heroines, talking about Robert E. Howard, he established the template for strong, independent female protagonists who carry out their own agenda equal to any male counterpart. Right, so that tells me immediately that modern writers changed probably everything that Robert E. Howard has envisioned for these characters and, creating this new heroines for the modern age, right? Because I'm not sure that's exactly what's going on, but that's how I interpreted it because this is a modern comic. And you know what I think about modern comics, especially when it comes to women in movies and TV series and comics. They're all strong and independent and they can do no wrong. And they are, at the right side of history and calling everyone bigots and phobes and isms if you are not complying with their visions, etc. And of course, they are almost invincible. So yeah, that's how I think of modern, strong, independent women in comics. So who is BELIT and Valeria? They are classic characters from the Robert E. Howards. I met them in Marvel Conan's book from the 90s with, I believe, art from John or Buscema. It's great stuff. BELIT was the lover of Conan and she died. And it was tragic because I was basically rooting for them because Conan is mostly a lone adventurer and then he fell in love with this pirate queen with a grand reputation. And she was a great character. And she is basically totally different from this character. Let's say BELIT is a fearsome pirate queen, let's call it that, back in the day. And she's commanding respect. Now, somehow, she's now risen from the grave. She is eating a crab. There's also some nudity in here, so beware. And she comes out of the water, and these creatures are here, mermaids. And then she pukes and says this that I'm not going to say because YouTube and algorithms and that kind of stuff, well, it doesn't matter. I can't say it. But this immediately established for me that this is not the hard-ass Conan-like book that you are used to back in the day. So I think this is more like a funny, jokey action adventure in the Hyborian Age. I'm not sure if I like that, but we're gonna see if it works out. But why the creators think this is funny and needed, I have no clue. I wish they'd just go back to the BELIT that we are known and love, back in the day, instead of changing her completely and spouting and insulting people all the whole time. I mean, I don't mind insults and hard language, but if it's on every page, it's become tiresome because the creator thinks it's edgy to say all these things in every page. Oh, look how badass she is, right? That's not how you create a good character. That being said, we're going to dive in. I must say the art is very good. And there's some cool examples of that I'm going to show you a little later. So she comes in this establishment here. Basically, she is saying that she wants to have sex with people. So this guy says, I don't know, she's pretty intimidating. And he says, well, I will do that. But then she says, hey, you, rent us a bed and let's get this over with. And she is choosing this Bart guy here. So she is ravaging him sexually. And then she smokes a cigarette or cigar. Like I said, this is reverse roles of men, back in the day, men was doing stuff like this. And now somehow modern writers and modern creators think that it's edgy if a woman can do this, right? Stick them to the white man and all that stuff. That's not saying that it's in here, but this is very over the top, I think, right? Barging in, insulting, demanding sex, smoking cigarettes after sex. What? I don't know, man. It's just, it feels a little bit too edgy and too desperate to convince us that she's a hard ass, in my opinion, of course. Anyway, the other main problem that I have with this book, it's pretty wordy. I'm going to show you that a little bit later. Anyway, so this guy says, "Hey, what's your name?" She says, "I'm BELIT, and formerly of Shem." And then he knows, as a bard, that he knows the legend of BELIT, and that she was. I'm coming back to this a little bit later. As a bard, you have to be living under the rock to not have endured hours of hackneyed verses of serenading her raven black locks and heart. If the poor woman were in years into her new vocation as fish food at the bottom of a watery grave, I would easily mistake you for she. Then again, your loveless outweighs the most flowery of. I am she, bard. You are she? I am she. Woke hungry for air at the bottom of said watery grave with no clue as I why I'm still alive. I clawed my way from the hungry tide to enact vengeance on whoever denied me the blissful afterlife, chasing gold through the stars at the side of Bel, my beloved god of thieves. And so he decides to, says, "Hey, take me with you." And then, this, like I said, looks great. So a couple of months later, she gathered some crew and she is, doing the plundering and, becoming a pirate queen again. And she has, along the way, grabbed some prisoners, for bounty and all that stuff. And so this guy's gonna get it. So then we're getting introduced to one of her prisoners, Valeria. And what strikes me is that, while BELIT is the hard-ass, tough woman, she is the smart, snarky one, like we see in modern comics a lot. This reminds me of, all these, like Captain Marvel, and woman in modern age like that. All these snarky, obnoxious, I can do no wrong. Nobody is, say something against me because I'm that good, kind of women. And it's really irritating for me, right? I mean, yeah, Valeria was also a hard ass woman, right? Back in the day, in this timeline. But why do we have to always go back to that snarky-esque character? I don't get it. Anyway, I'm stop complaining about that for now. So there's some banter here, and what strikes me is, like I said, there's a lot of words in here. It seems that, now I have to go somewhere else and complain about something else here. It seems that when it comes to talking, they always bounce off each other in a really weird way. When normally you say something, then somebody says back, but these guys are going back and forth and back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. For reasons, I don't know. There's a lot of banter in here that doesn't make any sense and doesn't need to be said anyway. It's just for, I'm going to say something for saying something's sake, if you know what I mean. So, BELIT is, walking on the deck, and then the bard is recording everything she does, but also saying that out loud. And she's getting annoyed with him for a while now, because, hey, leave whatever you say for the bedroom. And she's basically said, it's annoying that you're gonna say that out loud, but the bard says, well, it's my job because I'm a bard, and and why did you bring me aboard if you dislike what I'm doing? Well, basically, she says that she is Well, basically, he has a big penis and stuff, and so she likes that. It's I don't know. So she comes in and she dives off the. I don't know why she's diving off of this, but they are going onto land because they have guests, and these are the ones, right? So she's bargaining with this guy that hired her for bringing Valeria back. So it seems that Valeria is, I don't know, his concubine or something, and he's an important guy, and she's running away, and etc. etc. What strikes me also that they all talk like they are, I don't know, Socrates. They have talked very sophisticated and clean, Now, I can imagine if you are a prince or a important person, maybe a, I don't know, handler or something, that you have a more sophisticated way of talking. But Belit is just like Conan, a barbarian type person, right? But she also talks like, well, she is study, I don't know, she's a man of letters or woman of letters, if you know what I mean. They all talk like that. It's a little bit weird here and there. I love the facial expressions. The story is not that bad, actually, and it's actually at some point fun. And what I mean with that is that I'm going to show you. But as you can see, there's a lot of talking and talking and talking and talking. This whole page is about nothing because this guy is also Sumerian, it seems. And he explains why Valeria was walking away, etc. And so his master says, basically, I'm a little bit too soon. She says, what the hell is she? And why in Bel's name are you willing to part with your prized sorcerer, the infamous Glyn Deletrius, for that? She's talking about Valeria. And she says, yeah, I want to know that myself. It's fucking humiliating. So this guy explains everything, and he says, that question was meant for me, you honking slab of ass. Your right-hand thought really keeps you honest, doesn't he? What a forward-thinking communistic work environment you're running, Delaris. I'm taking notes. You see what I'm talking about? They are all talking very, I don't know, if they're aristocrats or something. I'm not sure if that's the right word, but you know what I mean. So it seems that this guy has a disorder. Yeah, and but I must. He has what? A disorder. He cannot hold his tongue, medically speaking. So then he talks a lot about more. Basically wasting a lot of time. But like I said, this is more like a jokey, humorous comic, I believe. They have some very lighthearted stuff in here, but also serious. And it somehow works. But also, I said a while ago when I reviewed a comic that I was not happy with this certain comic because I thought it was something different that I wanted. I wanted to something like this, but it wasn't that. So I need to take a step back and said, hey, maybe I should look at a certain comic for what it is and not what I was hoping it would be. That doesn't mean it's immune to criticism, but so like I said, it's not a hard-ass Conan book from the 90s. No, it is more like a lighthearted with serious things here and there. Anyway, moving on. So Belit says, it seems the hallowed reputation of your shrimp-like manhood is restored, Dom Delaris. Be wary that attitude in Boots, talking about her, is told to have developed herself some meager amount of skill whilst spuckling swash. Is that not swashbuckling? You forget that you are a rare flower, poison blossom of Shem. Poison blossom of Shem, I'm sorry. Even death cannot stop you. As for the woman I court, those sluts know better than to question their place in the secret order of things. How I shall miss this charming Brooke, says the sorcerer. On the fucking ship, spellslinger. Oh, I almost forgot. Glyn. Yes, Dom. You must delight our esteemed business partners with your knowledge of this beautiful locale. So what he's going to do is that he's going to explain parts of this island. And Belit says, hey, why isn't that this exotic land remained undisturbed? in these jaded days of exploration and industrial gluttony. And then he says, well, it's a home of a sealed well beneath yonder abandoned temple. A well that is capable of giving birth to one of greatest fears should an intrepid and handsome magic maker know the triggering incantation. Greatest fears, she says. Now, what I like about the dialogue is that they actually talk more like they're in the Hyperborean age, except for the very sophisticated way of talking. But unfortunately, there's also some modern slang in here, and I have to point it out. But before we go into that, this is happening. So the magic user is, saying the spell or the incantation, and Belit's fears come to life somehow, right? And he says, so the Dom says, take them, boys. So yeah, it was all a ruse. So the ruse was that they are, killing Belit and her crew and then taking their bounty and gold and all that stuff, right? Well, this creature is wreaking havoc on the ship. And Belit says, admittedly a well-planned act of cowardice, yank a monstrosity out of my traumatic past and use it to flee with the ample goods. Fuck that dummy boy. Dummy boy? What? If you're a bastard, don't lie to the world. Let them count on it. All right. Okay. So yeah, and so this one-eyed gets it. And it looks great, man. The colors looks nice. The art looks nice. And then the Cimmerian says, wish I felt bad about that pirate. You deserve to die for an honored cause. Sadly, I'm a fucking psycho. Well, there it is, guys and boys. Guys and boys. Guys and girls. Boys and girls. Modern slang. So, I don't know, but psycho or psychopath that we read earlier is a slang that's used in the 20th century, not in the Hyperborean age. Probably, I don't know, maybe used in other time periods, not in this one, like I said, 20th century. Also, I forgot to point it out a little bit. It's just small stuff, but it's just takes me out of the world building. So this guy talks about, now let's hear, her claims of immortality, her particular grasp of irony and how it speaks of one who has loved and lost everything, and now, like some bizarre automaton, marches across the wasteland once beautified by meaning. Automaton. Automaton is another word for robot or mechanical man, right? This is an age where technology isn't there. Automaton was probably invented, the word, in maybe 17th or 18th century, with puppets and dolls and, for entertainment, or maybe, try to make toys, that can walk, stuff like that. Automaton, okay. Stuff like that, right? Okay. So Belit says, Cimmerian, I thought you long-headed galoot of a god espoused a form of trite honor alongst his almighty chop. So there was a tongue twister. So I have to read it again and again. What do you mean with that? Right? Anyway, and he also says, did this word. Anyway, so they are, like I said, they are bouncing off each other in a weird way. They are talking very sophisticated, and then, I'm saying this to you, and the other one says back that to you, and then the talking continues. Just leave part of the words out, less dialogue and more balance, if you know what I mean, when it comes to dialogue and action and world building. So they're going to fight anyway. So she kicks him in the balls, and he has this face. Anyway, my boot cleans you're missing an element of your downstairs trilogy. That was like trying to kick a withering grape, she says. Downstairs trilogy? I don't know what that means. Anyway, so she stabs him in the ribs, between the ribs. Dexterous fucking that. And so we go back to the Dom, and the Dom says, look, dear, if you're going to be fetching a piece of ass in a pirate costume, at least perform convincingly. So, and then she says, basically she says that she wants to see BELIT win, and although she doesn't like her. And then he says something stupid. Unfortunately, I'm the one with the bargaining power over Glyn and his spell slinging. The horny goat was always enamored with you, and I promised him a night in your boudoir if he spent a day as bait. So that gives her an idea. She says, hey, sorcerer. Shit, I cannot. Yeah, fuck it. If you really want to get off the hand of these puppies, aim that big snake away. And he says, damn you cunt, you have no idea what you've done. So, and then the spellslinger says, I knew she was a woman of spirit. She even smells like mother? What? I don't know, man. So, anyway, so the Dom is so angry with her that she's just gonna throw her in chains and, stab or drown her. And then this guy says, hey, fire the cannons. And then this is happening. So yeah, the snake is a goner. It looks great, man. I mean, the art is really, really good. Yeah? And also has sound effects. So he says, God, I love that pirate. And so he's getting punched out. And but Valeria is in trouble. And the Dom is just, he's almost dead. And she says, my fucking pig. And then she's getting booted into the face. And he's dead, I guess. Valeria of the Red Brotherhood knows this. Know this. You are worth more than the treatment you endured from the world, including myself. Allow me to formally introduce myself as BELIT, the Pirate Queen of Shem. You've spent far too long in chains deprived of the finer things. You must be starving, parched. I can only hope that you aren't thirsty for an adventure. This could be continued, so that leads us to the next issue. So yeah, they're becoming partners, right? Because, well, they probably like each other's spirits, which is all cool and dandy. And then we have, I believe, this is from 1936. So these are the passages or the writings of Robert E. Howard. So if you're interested in that, it's all fine and dandy. I'm pretty sure Robert E. Howard doesn't write Valeria and BELIT like there are some invincible girl bosses. Could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure. Anyway, that leads us to the next issue. We're going to review that. So guys, let me know what you think about this comic, and I'll see you, of course, next time. Bye-bye.